Look, I'm not here to dump on 2 points. I can appreciate what went into getting these 2 particular points. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into football and or baseball. I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place you found this. Penguins 3, Ducks 2 in overtime. And yes, that equates to 2 points. It also equates to 2 points that they really kind of start needing to accumulate. And that actually isn't a bad place to start, considering how they've fared of late. Jake Gensel got the overtime goal on a 2-on-1 with Sidney Crosby. This after Trevor Zegras tried to pass on a clean breakaway to Cam Fowler for some reason. Fowler wasn't ready for it at all. Penguins go the other way and end the game. Before that, Brian Rust tied the score with 24.8 seconds left. And again, this is good. This is good. I'm not making a bad thing out of this. Here's what Jake had to say afterward.
It's huge. We need 2 points now, and they're the same 2 points at the end of the year. So you never want to lose games, but I think for us to come back tonight, hopefully kind of get some confidence here now.
He's right. It's huge. 2 points are huge. And as Marcus Pettersson would point out, it doesn't matter when you get them or against whom you get them.
I think we always want to bring that urgency. I think these 2 points are as critical as they're with the same in March as they are now. So we can always bring that urgency,
which is fine. Go ahead and do it that way. Meaning from Mike Sullivan's perspective, because there aren't other answers available for this team since they're clearly not going to make personnel moves. They're just not. They're just not. I don't believe that this GM is equipped to do that. I don't believe he has any sort of, total transfusion in him. Even if it's just a total transfusion of the third and fourth lines. Now, in fairness, Sullivan did make 2 moves yesterday. Those of you who listen to this program know I've been advocating for both pretty loudly for a couple of weeks now. 1, move Teddy Blueger to the third line. Stop pretending that Jeff Carter is a third-line center in the NHL right now. He's not, and he's not going to be. 2nd, move Carter to the wing where he can't hurt you anywhere near as much defensively. Both of those happened in this game. I don't know that either happened to great effect because I don't know that the Penguins played all that great. But it's a start, and it was a needed start toward righting a handful of existing wrongs in this lineup. Sooner rather than later, you would hope they also could handle the Brian Dumoulin situation, that they can give chances to other younger players as they did last night in his NHL debut to Jonathan Gruden, and that they can begin finding some inner flexibility to allow for these types of movements to continue as they're needed. Stop getting so married to outdated concepts and, in a couple cases, outdated players. But in the interim, and I'm going to be honest with you, that's all that game last night felt like, was the interim or intermission. By all means, go ahead and accumulate points. Look at the standings. Look where this team is. 5th in the division, 9th in the conference. And last I checked, that latter one isn't going to get you into the playoffs. This portion of Daily Shot of Penguins is brought to you by the good people at the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, where they're committed to providing food for all of our neighbors in need across Western Pennsylvania. They, in turn, need your help. Find out how $1 can be turned into 5 full meals. For those in need, visit pittsburghfoodbank.org. So based on the fact, and I do mean fact, that pretty much every player being interviewed after this was talking about the 2 points. We got 2 points, 2 important points. That had to have been the message that came from Sullivan and the coaching staff. And that's the right message, because that's going to resonate no matter what. Facing the Ducks on a Monday night in mid-January, not so much. Points on the table when you're out of the playoff picture, yeah, those count the same way as if you're facing the Rangers in the middle of March. Arguably more because it's presumed that you'll take those points, and you can't leave them behind. Or if you do, you're going to end up having to get those 2 points in a much, much more challenging fashion from someone else. Besides, the simple, pure pursuit of points is the kind of thing that can get the team to do the things that it should have been doing all along anyway. Look, a big portion of what's gone wrong for this team, particularly in recent weeks, has been, for whatever reason, a lack of focus, a lack of commitment. Maybe they're older, maybe they think they can just coast into the playoffs. Well, the Penguins are automatically guaranteed a berth in the playoffs, right? And whatever it is out of all of that, it wasn't going to cut it. It wasn't going to fly for a whole lot longer. So if the Penguins take care of business and get this handful of points here, meaning these 2 against the Ducks and 4 more, not 2 more, not 3 more, 4 more from the Senators in their next 2 games, at least they're getting back on the points track, and maybe they'll even start playing the game right again. But I'm going to repeat, that doesn't fix things. So they can't go getting comfortable over this from a personnel standpoint. And heaven knows this general manager will be seeking out any opportunity to get comfortable. When we come back, J1Q. Today's J1Q comes from TJ, who asks, why not put Carter on the 4th line? You know, TJ, the numbers don't matter all that much unless you're worried about looking like you're disrespecting someone, or they've achieved so much, or they've shown so much leadership, and now here you are demoting them to the 4th line. I'm a big believer in not distinguishing much at all between a 3rd and 4th line. I really, really believe that. And if you want an example of it, look at the Penguins' 1st and 2nd lines. Whenever Rickard Rakell and Brian Rust switched lines, wasn't that how we all discussed it? We didn't say that Rakell was demoted to the 2nd line or Rust was demoted to the 2nd line. Why? Because they're pretty much even. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't some kind of kick in the groin to Rust. Well, where the 3rd line and 4th line are concerned on this team, neither of us has been any good. So nobody's really in any kind of position, including Carter, to complain about anything relating to disrespect. Not that he would. I don't think that he would. But it's just, it's not a factor, is what I'm saying, and it shouldn't be one. Besides, if you want to talk about somebody who's completely ego-free, here's Teddy. Teddy got bumped up to the 3rd line, but what does that really mean? It means Teddy just got the better wingers, but you could just as easily have written that up on your line chart in there on the dry erase board as those wingers playing with Teddy, and those wingers got demoted to the 4th line. I mean, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. What does matter is finding the right mix on the 3rd and 4th lines, but one that involves energy, one that involves putting guys on the ice who can make a difference in terms of shifting a momentum or maintaining a momentum to a hockey game. That means almost always a heavy-duty forecheck, a little bit of a physical presence. And I'm not even talking about hitting here. I'm talking about getting along the wall and fighting for loose pucks, really battling for them. And, of course, never to be forgotten when you're discussing 3rd and 4th lines, real live, high-quality, hungry penalty killers, not that stick waving that Carter's doing out there. They keep putting Carter out there on the PK because he can win a draw. Great. Watch what he does after he wins the draw, presuming that he wins it. And he is pretty good on draws still. And that's about it. Otherwise, he's a big body with a long stick that they're hoping will take up some space. Find players that are ready to run through the wall for you. I don't believe those players are here in Pittsburgh. I'm not sure they're in Wilkes-Barre either. So acquiring one or more of them would involve Gasp making an outside move, which Hextall has pretty much ensured that he can't do because of signing Carter and Kasperi Kapanen to the ridiculous contracts they've received. Figure it out. Solve it. Attempt something. Don't just sit there and say, oh, well, salary cap. Oh, no, can't do anything. Things have to change with this hockey team. In the interim, as I mentioned earlier, go right ahead and beat the Anaheims and the Ottawas. Get into the All-Star break with a little bit of a good feeling, but then get to work on putting together a real live third and fourth lines for this hockey team. I appreciate the question. I'll be flying up to Ottawa later tonight to cover the Penguins game against the Senators there tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Love Ottawa. Haven't been back there in 4 years. Let's do this again tomorrow.